Hi, welcome back. If you don't know already, I have a skin condition called hidradenitis suppurativa. Whilst there's no cure for this condition, there are things that you can do, wear and take to kind of ease your symptoms and just keep flare-ups to a minimum. One of these things being Ozempic, GLP-1, Mounjaro, weight loss injections. Personally, for me, it's not something I've ever thought about doing just because I don't trust myself. I feel like, knowing my luck, I would take these injections and something bad would happen. But there are people out there who have chosen to take these injections to try and just keep their flare-ups to a minimum and just keep the HS under as much control as they can. Which brings me on to today's discussion. It's a bit of a strange one because I haven't really seen much about it. I've obviously seen many people taking these weight loss injections, but it's never been what we're going to talk about today, which is the medicalisation of beauty and specifically Ozempic face. So if I am correct, Ozempic is one of the ones that's more commonly used in the US, and actually 12% of US adults are on these injections. I know, as opposed to England, there is a big obesity concern in the US, but there is over in the UK too, and I feel like 12% of the adult population is a massive chunk of people who are on these injections. And really, what research have you done before taking them? I hope you have. So if you don't know what these injections do, you basically inject them into your stomach, or I think you can maybe in your thighs. I'm not really sure on the different places that you can inject yourself. But the term Ozempic face has basically come about from these injections because when you're taking them, you're losing so much weight so quickly that it's making your face appear gaunt. Hollowed cheeks, sunken eyes, and skin laxity due to the loss of dermal white adipose tissue, which I believe is like a layer of fat that you need. Imagine yourself in a car. This dermal tissue is basically your airbags. They are protecting you. It's like a padding for your face. So obviously, if you haven't gathered already, these injections are intended for weight loss, people who are diabetic, people who are really in need of losing weight and they can't by themselves, or they're struggling by themselves. People who have been trying to lose weight for years and not seeing any kind of movement. The issue comes in when people who are healthy, a healthy size for their body, their weight, their age, their gender, everything that comes into play. People that are healthy are taking these injections. First of all, that's really stupid, in my opinion. I feel if you're already healthy, you've already got a healthy body, weight, BMI, it's not something you should be touching at all. And I know a couple of people who do take them, and they, in my opinion, definitely don't need to. But I do understand that it is all in how they feel. If they want to take them, that is completely their decision. But it does worry me just because it's not intended for people who are already healthy. And I don't know about in the US, but in the UK, there are people who aren't licensed or, aren't supposed to be giving these injections out, and they are. So that's another thing that comes into play. How do you know what you're taking is safe? If you're not getting it from a doctor directly or a chemist, a pharmacy, how do you know what you're injecting into your body is actually what people are saying it is? My second thing is, over here in the UK, it is difficult to get a doctor to listen to you, especially when it comes to weight. Even if you go to the doctors over something not weight related, they'll say, have you tried losing weight? Have you tried being lighter? Which obviously isn't helpful, but then when it comes to these weight loss injections and people are going to the doctors for them, they're being refused. And I personally think the reason for this is because so many people are just running out and wanting to take them even when they don't need to be. So doctors are having to be really strict about who they're giving these injections to. And as a result, this isn't helping the people who actually need them because they're having to basically fight for a doctor to listen to them and believe them that they do need it and they have tried everything else. You can buy them private, but the only issue with that for me is that you're kind of just given the injections and told to go on your way. You don't get that same level of support that you would from a doctor if you got them through the doctors. And obviously, if anything did go wrong, the responsibility is kind of with the doctors. And I don't know if responsibility is the right word. I just mean you've got that support there still. You've got someone to, you know, there's all these steps that doctors have to take. But then if you're accessing it privately, then you're not going to have those same people able to help you, if that makes sense. Obviously, a hospital would help you, but it is just safer to get them from the doctor or someone who's actually registered to be giving them out. So there's this thing, I don't really want to call it a trend because it's a bit, you know, it's just wrong, but it's called the Ballet Body. And before, where the goal was like BBLs and baby face makeup and things like that, it's kind of turning into chiseled jawlines, sharp contours, elongated limbs, a very, very sculpted look. And for those people who do follow these like seasonal body changes, it's becoming an issue because they're going from one extreme to the other. You cannot just keep changing your whole appearance to that extent. There's people who are taking these injections just for the sake of this ballet body. There's people taking Ozempic that don't need it. There's people taking Manjaro who aren't anything but healthy. And you know what? There's so many complications that come with taking things like this. There's so many side effects, as with any kind of medication. But specifically Ozempic, hair loss, dry mouth and gums, and even changes in scent perception. How is that? That scares me actually, because how are you injecting yourself with a weight loss jab for it to change how you perceive scents? It's really weird. These people who are having these injections, some are reporting to, you know, be gravitating towards like sweet scents, whereas before they wouldn't have done that. And I find it really, really strange. If it's messing with your whole being as much as that, then it's probably something to stay away from. I'm not going to judge people who are taking it, because I won't lie to you, I have thought about taking it. The only way I would is if a doctor prescribed me it, because I'm just not comfortable taking it any other way. But even then, I like being big. No, it's not great for my health, but I am losing it slowly. I only want to lose a little bit. I like being big. And I have been losing weight rather than putting it on or staying the same for long periods of time, so I'm not actually bothered. Live and let live. Some people are taking these weight loss injections to restart their metabolism. I'm not sure about the science behind it, but I'd imagine it probably does do something like that. I'm not sure how metabolisms and things like that work, but I'd imagine it does do something along those lines. But I feel like you should be trying everything else first, like maybe a week detox, something less intrusive, because let's be honest, there's not much more intrusive than injecting yourself with something. Which brings me on to the rise of metabolic beauty, or metabolic beauty. I don't actually know how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry. But because Ozempic face is such an issue for people now due to how much, you know, loss of volume people are experiencing and dehydration, obviously there are certain brands out there that are jumping on this to release some products that are going to fix all of that. Such as Volulift GLP-1 4D Skin Rebound Complex, which is a $134 cream designed by Image Skincare to mimic the plumping effects of fat tissue. How about we don't do that? How about we just don't take the injections? And then we're not at risk of volume loss and dehydration. And there's the Derma Reverse, which is a clinically peer-reviewed line targeting GLP-1 specific sagging and dryness. If this is a whole issue, if brands are making products to fix these problems, why are more people not thinking about whether they should be taking this or not seriously? Because I think everyone who's taking these injections really just needs to think about it and think to themselves, do I need this? Do I really need this? Does my body need this? Is my BMI dangerous? And if the answer is no to any of them, then you probably should rethink it. And another thing that's absolutely wild to me is the fact that GLP-1 injections have now surpassed Botox and filler in the amount of sales. Now I know there's millions of people out there who have filler and Botox regularly. So for GLP-1 to have surpassed those two things in sales is Wild. And I feel so on the fence about it because yes, it is a good thing. Yes, it's a good thing. Like, we don't want a whole, you know, pandemic of just obesity. But at the same time, live and let live. Like, is that really an issue for you personally? But then at the same time, it's not healthy to be obese. We know this. It's not healthy. Yes, some people prefer to be, but it's not healthy. You obviously would be healthier and benefit from being a healthy size, a healthy BMI. And to be honest, I don't know whether this is going to be a popular opinion, but I feel like we've worked so hard over the years to be inclusive, no matter what your size, no matter what your body shape, how you look, your skin tone, any of that. So to have these injections that is basically medically induced weight loss, it feels like we're undoing everything that we've worked so hard to build, and it just feels weird. It feels like I'm in some kind of alternate universe. I don't understand why everyone wants the same body, first of all. Like, I understand it is healthier, but I feel like everyone's going to start taking them at some point, and then there's just going to be... The whole world is just going to be thin. Where's the variety, honey? And it kind of brings me to Uncanny Valley because there's so many celebrities, so many people who are taking these injections, and they look... something is off. And it feels horrible to say this because everyone is beautiful in their own way, I know that, but something feels off when you're looking at these people, these celebrities. The faces are hollow. It's like they've lost their soul. And I know that sounds quite sinister to say, but it really does feel like that. It's like they've lost something within them. And if GLP-1, Ozempic, Mounjaro is going to take that away from me, I don't want it. Keep it. I don't want it. Just keep it. And I'm so sorry to bring this up because I know they've just lost their dad and husband recently, but Sharon Osbourne and Kelly Osbourne are two examples of this. I understand that they're struggling with grief and they're going through a lot, but the way Kelly's cheeks are hollow, I believe that is from Ozempic use. We know she has taken that, she's admitted to taking it. And it's just really sad because she is so beautiful, they both are. And I don't know if this is just kind of a weird thought to have. It is obviously my personal opinion, but I feel if you are going through grief, something really, really big like that, I don't feel like you should be given these injections until you're kind of mentally stable again. Just because we make all kinds of hasty decisions or life choices when we are going through something so traumatic as grief. So I feel like the right thing to do would be to refuse people going through grief or anything that's having a strong mental effect on you and putting these injections off until you're in a better headspace. Because there's so many things that come into play with this, like body dysmorphia. You might look at yourself and think you're a size 30, and realistically, in real life, actually, factually, you're only a size 4. I think thorough background checks need to be done before these injections are just given to people, because you could be giving these injections to someone who has had an eating disorder before or does, and either one of them, it isn't great. You're going to need to be monitored. Make sure you're doing things the way you should be doing them and it's not harming your health in any way. It's all just very complex, and I feel like it's definitely something that shouldn't be taken lightly. It's life-changing. I think Ozempic face is going to be the next scary trend. I say trend, I don't really want to use the word trend. Pandemic. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, as always. I don't know if it is just... I feel like it's this world is just so crazy to be living in right now. But there's nowhere else. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if this channel is your vibe. Love you. Bye.